Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cool Water Show, episode 33, our Larry Bird episode over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. My name is Kari. I am joined by my co-host, Katie. Katie, how have the last 10 seconds of your life been?
I've had a very frantic last maybe 10 minutes. No, not even
Yep,
five
that's why I asked about
minutes.
10 seconds. Like,
Yeah,
have the
no,
last
they've been
10
good.
seconds
They've
been
been
okay?
good. Yeah, nice and chill. Nice and chill. How about yours?
I always get into a little groove when I hear our theme song. Just makes
Mm-hmm.
me like sway back and forth. So those 10 seconds were great. Um, my overall day, I woke up very early to play or to go to like a pickleball drills class this
Oh, that was
morning.
today.
Well, so I did a beginner session on
Mm-hmm.
Saturday and it went well. And so I like after that, I'm like, okay, I'm into this because
Yeah.
um something that I like notoriously do is like when I decide to do something, I like go to the extreme. And so I'm
Love
like
that.
in
I'm the
looking.
opposite.
See, so I was reading like Enneagrams and it's like what's something that you do that you like wonder if other Enneagrams do as well of like
Mm-hmm.
your same number. And this person who was an 8 was which I'm an 8 was like I have to have intensity in my life. Like everything
Mm.
I do with intensity. Like it just I need to feel like I'm doing it to its fullest potential, like giving and I'm like, oh shit, like that sums a lot of how I feel about things up very well. And so
Yeah.
here I am fucking Googling like pickleball groups and stuff. Oh, I just threw a rubber band on my truck. Um and so there's this guy named Johnny Pickleball who runs
Oh.
like clinics and stuff. And so there was a 6:15 a.m. drills class
Oh
this
my
morning.
God.
So I
Talk
got
about
my ass out of
intensity.
bed and started my day with some pickleball. There was a 7:15 a.m. too, but like I like to be on my computer earlier so that I can get off earlier.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can wake up at 5:30 for this, whatever. And I was a little skeptical because like I'm sure that I'm not the only person who feels this way, but as an adult being coached, it can either be a really good experience or like the
Mm-hmm.
worst fucking thing in the world. And this guy was pretty good. I have no
Well,
complaints.
his name
And
is Johnny Pickleball,
his
so
name is
I would
Johnny
hope that he would be
Pickleball.
good.
Yeah. So I liked Johnny Pickleball. The best
Good.
part of it was when he like he was like, I want you to do a drop shot, not a whatever he called it. And then he started like explaining all these things. And I was like, I gotta stop you. And he's like, what? I'm like, I played for the first time as an adult on Saturday. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I played like for a 3-week session in high school in gym class. And I played like once at summer camp um,
Was he
as an
super
adult.
impressed by your
And he
pickleball
was like,
skill?
you haven't played except for Saturday? He's like, I thought you've been playing for however long. And I was like,
Wow.
no, this is my second time since like in the last like 15 years, essentially.
Wow.
He was like, oh. So I left there feeling very good about myself. Afterwards, he gave me like a whole thing on like why I should learn how to do blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So I already signed up for Thursday mornings. 6:15 drills session and we'll see how it goes. But I got
That's
to start off
great.
my day very well. After that, it's been a little chaotic, but we don't need to get into it.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for complaining to you about being on meetings since 8:30 in the morning. Because
Oh
pickleball at
no.
6:15 is more intense than meetings at 8:30.
But I did like jack shit during work today. So like it
Okay,
really
that's good.
is I did enough to be like I did things and prove my like I'm doing things to
Mm-hmm.
people, but not listen. Today was an easy day. I had an intense week last week at work, so like I feel like I've compensated for
Yeah.
it.
No, for sure.
So yeah, that's like the highlight of my day.
Nice.
Um, but I'm glad the last 10 seconds of your life have been less chaotic than the 10 minutes before that. But we're here to talk
Yes,
about some housewives today.
we are. We are. Speaking of chaos.
Great transition. We have the an episode in Aspen, which like we've been hearing about Aspen forever
Mm-hmm.
on the internet, and nothing has happened yet that matches up with what like Lisa Rinna has been putting on the internet. But we'll talk
Nope.
about all that because we did have some shit go down in Aspen that's gonna be worth talking about for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And we had the first episode. Is it gonna be 3 weeks of a reunion for
That's a good
Atlanta?
question. I think so. It seems like it.
Yeah, I think at like the pace we were moving, it feels like we're gonna get 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not gonna get through the rest of the season next week.
No, I don't think so.
So we have some of that. The Potomac trailer came out, didn't it?
It did. It did.
Did you watch it?
I did.
I forgot to. I meant to
Oh,
while I was waiting for you. So, you can tell me about the Potomac trailer.
okay.
And I mean, I'm really excited for them. I don't know if this is like too far off topic or if you know, but
Hmm.
I'm assuming you follow Queens of Bravo or
Yes.
whatever. Do they get the episodes early?
They might from like a press, like they might have like a
Because
press screener or something. I know some podcasters do. Not us though. Bravo. I mean,
we
we
have
never
to
asked, but
we can try. I mean, given I always end up watching it like 3 days later anyway. It's not like
that's
I'll
true.
watch everything. I just am never like pressed to watch it when it's on. Yeah, because they tweeted something today that was like, yeah, let me see. There's a reason that, let me backtrack. The Real Housewives of Potomac currently has one of the best casts of any franchise. The ladies understand the assignment, and the season premiere kicks off right from the jump as we meet up with our favorite OGs. There's a reason Robin, Giselle, Ashley, and Karen continue to do what they do. They just bring it, expect some familiar faces to pop in, and plenty of shady editor moments. We breeze through the supersized premiere.
Oh, so I
So,
guess they have it already. That seems really
yeah.
early. That's like a month in advance because it comes out on the October 9th.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, that's crazy that they get
Yeah,
to
that
see
seems
this
really
already.
early.
So, Bravo's out here
Damn,
shipping
Bravo,
things fast.
send it to us early.
Yeah, they're on this like Amazon Prime delivery
Yeah,
schedule. Like
really.
we'll get it to you overnight. So yeah, that's there's people who've seen the first episode already and I'm jealous, but in due time,
I'm also jealous. But you know what would
in
suck? Having the first episode a month early and then having to
and
wait
then
a
having
full
to
month.
wait, yeah, like
Yeah.
5 weeks for the next one. No, I 100% agree with that. That's for
Yeah.
sure. So we can talk about that, and then let's. I also want to touch on New Jersey because
Yeah, yeah.
I am at the end of season 8.
Ooh, okay.
So I have 9, 10, 11. I have 3 episodes to watch in 6 or seasons to watch in like 6 days because that's when they get taken off of Hulu. And then I
Oh
have
my
to watch
God.
it on stupid Peacock, which is such a stupid fucking platform because it's so wonky and like doesn't load up right on browsers. Ugh, I'm so angry.
I've never
So
really
yeah,
tried it on a browser. Maybe once I did.
I so we have like foregone having a dining room in our apartment, which like we have the space for to
Hmm.
instead have like a jigsaw puzzle room.
Love that.
And so sometimes if I like want to, depending on what I'm eating, like if I'm eating like a ramen or something, I'll sit at my desk because it's like the easiest place to eat like a real table.
Hmm.
And so I'll put shows on there. So that's a lot of times when I'll like cruise through. I'll eat like a lot of my meals in front of my computer so I can watch Real Housewives.
I love that.
So um I've had to deal with Peacock, for example, like what Ultimate Girls Trip, and I just get so frustrated with the app.
Yeah. I'll have to
But
try it just to see what the experience is like.
maybe it's gotten better. I did use it today to watch Atlanta, and it was the best experience I've had with the Peacock
Oh, okay. Maybe they're improving.
browser experience. I hope so because if I'm gonna have to spend more time on it on my computer, I'm gonna need them to meet me halfway.
Yes. Agreed. For you. I support you in that.
Thank you. I need that. So let's talk about Beverly Hills first. And
Okay.
full disclosure is I did not take notes. I watched both of these today. I watched this on a beanbag while pretending to be working
Love that.
because I didn't have a couch set up for 24 hours. But we will not get into this. So all vibes, no notes today.
Love going on vibes.
Yes.
It's one of those days.
Mm-hmm. straight vibe. Our vibes are weird over here
Yeah,
though today.
weird
Like,
vibes today.
do not take on these vibes. Put
Mm-hmm.
on protect your own vibes here. If you're having a good day, we're happy for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're in Aspen in Beverly Hills, and the where they left off was um where Sutton was like, why didn't any of you stand up for me when Erika called me a cunt,
Mm-hmm.
and Diana goes, well, it's because you are one, and Erika
Yeah.
thinks it's like the funniest thing that Diana's ever said, which, to be fair, it could be the funniest thing that Diana has ever
Yeah,
said.
maybe. It might be. She's
um
not funny, so it's very possible.
yeah, like I'm not necessarily mad at Erika's reaction, but it's still kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So we pick up this episode with like the aftermath of that.
Yeah. Next
And
morning.
yes, next morning. So they immediately kind of like split up into their snowmobile and skiing groups, right?
Yeah, I think there's a scene that kicks off with just like Kyle once again harassing Kathy for her slippers, which to me, I'm like, why do you care so much about the appearance of your sister?
In addition to how she calls her out for her like shopping bag purse later on.
Yeah, later on she has like a shopping bag, little tote bag, and listen, money talks, wealth whispers, and I hate to tell you, Kyle, but you're coming off like a money talker and not a wealth whisperer. Okay.
So is it worse of Kyle being like, Kathy, why are you using these things that make you look like you're a middle class citizen? Or is it worse of Kathy to be like, Kyle, don't swear? Don't.
Yeah, that was weird. That was very weird. No, I think everything Kyle does is worse
Mm-hmm.
so far. I mean, there are some allegations that Kathy does some stuff in the next couple of episodes, which who knows if Rin is telling the truth or not, but we'll see what happens. But for now, tentatively, I'm Team Kathy because this whole thing, the way that Kyle's been treating Kathy in these last few episodes of like not giving her silverware, relegating her to the basement, not giving her room to put her clothes anywhere in this like tiny little room. She's harassing her about her slippers and her purse. Like, why is she like this with her sisters?
Well,
Why
because
does she want to make fools of them on TV?
she low key hates Kathy, and
She
like
hates them both. I think she really hates them both.
this has been. I mean, if you think of it, wasn't Kim the bigger like child star than
Yes.
Kyle? And then Kathy is fucking Kathy Hilton. She's
Yeah.
married into whatever, and so like this is Kyle's place to shine, and I feel like you kind of see that. I don't know if it's like the intimidation, like being territorial, but to
Mm-hmm.
me it kind of comes across as like, this is my shit. I am like the head honcho here. So Kathy, yeah, you are going to sleep on a bunk bed. I
Yeah.
am going to criticize your slippers because sure, I can go to your house and you can feed me like a baked potato for lunch and I can
With
criticize
caviar,
it.
though.
Yeah, which was still weird, but
Yeah.
like you have your money. Kim had her early success. Like, this is my thing now. And which sidebar, have you seen the commercial with Kyle, Teresa,
Oh,
and
yes.
Kenya?
I saw it a few weeks ago, actually, and I meant to bring it up to you. I think I saw it online before it was on TV, and it's maybe my favorite commercial that's ever existed.
So I had only seen the shortened version of it until I was watching the Cowboys get destroyed by Tom Brady, like he has done his whole entire career against the
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys. I fucking hate Tom Brady. I hate the Cowboys more. They're my football team, but I hate them more. But God, anyway, so I saw the full length version and I
Mm-hmm.
lost my shit so it was Dak Prescott flipping a table.
Yes.
And Teresa's like, who
Who
flips a
flips
table?
a table? And then she's like, I get it.
I haven't seen, so I had seen like the shortened one of like Kenya catching it in the bag and
Yeah.
Kyle like playing defense a bit for whatever and like Teresa being a cheerleader, but then seeing that one and I
Teresa's
just
the
lost
star
it.
of that commercial, by the way.
Yeah, she is, especially
She
like
is.
the full length one. It made me
Yes.
laugh. So I
Who
thought
knew
that
that
was
she had some acting chops?
Isn't she going to be on Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, she is going to be on Dancing with the Stars. That's also
So she's
something.
going to have some dancing chops.
I
acting
cannot wait.
chops.
I'm going to have all my devices open, ready to vote. Me and the rest of the tree huggers. We're going to come through for our girl.
I can't wait to talk about New Jersey at the end of this. Okay, so anyway, back to Beverly Hills. So I just think, I don't know. Kyle, I am interested in your opinion in this. Might have had her most like redeeming's not the right word, but maybe redeeming moment of the season in like calling Erika out. Not saying that it like negates all the other
Yeah.
shitty things she's done. However, it's like the first maybe I don't know, it seems like morally sound, not it could be produced. It could be, but at least like putting her friendship and allegiances and alliances to the side and
Mm-hmm.
coming across a little bit more humane.
Yeah.
So I when this was all happening, like, oh, I cannot wait to hear what Katie has to say about this.
I just feel like there's been so many seasons of Kyle doing the bare minimum that I just don't want to celebrate her for doing the bare minimum here. Like months ago, since last season, she should have been saying something to Erika. And just because Erika came out so indefensibly, like I don't think you can get more indefensible than what Erika was saying in this episode. And of course, we'll get into it in more detail, but like everybody else that didn't say anything is just like, how are you not? Like, at least Kyle, I guess, like spoke up, but it's not like she's not really doing the work here, you know?
Yeah.
Like Garcelle and Crystal are really doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. But
I think there's more to come in this week's episode too. It seems like she's yelling at Dorit. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Kyle, but I'm not impressed. Nothing. She's never going to impress me, Kyle. So
yeah, it makes sense. Like you don't get to do one thing that makes you seem like you are more of a person and less of a producer, and then just
right,
be this like angel of the cast.
character.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, before we get into the whole meltdown, because this was only like one day. This episode is basically just one day in Aspen. I don't know how long they're staying in Aspen for, but it also seems like we have like 3 to 4 more episodes left before we even get to the reunion.
I'm so ready to be done.
Mm-hmm.
The reunion filmed this weekend.
Yeah, and like a recap that I read of it was Andy said, oh, I guess he said on his like radio show or something. Like we've got another. It's not airing till like the middle of October or so, like early middle October. So we've probably got like 3 to 4 more episodes, and then it's going to be a 3-part reunion, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
So we have like nearly 2 months.
It better only be 3 parts because didn't last year they gave us 4 parts? I'm not doing 4 parts of this.
Did they?
I think they did.
I think they did too, and I remember being like, "This is the worst.
It's inappropriate."
So we've got a while left, but the women split up into 2 groups. You have your skiing group and your snowmobiling group. So
nothing I love more than Housewives doing activities outdoors.
Yes, we do have to add that Mauricio was with the women in the
this is
skiing
bullshit
group.
to me, by the way. Mauricio needs to get the fuck out of here. Why is Mauricio on this whole trip? It's fine, like, okay, I'm going because I'm going to go skiing. Go skiing separately. Like, you're not part of this trip. Don't come to fucking dinner. Go get dinner somewhere else. Like, make some friends. Bring some of your friends. Stay in a separate house. Just get the fuck off the show, Mauricio. Like, you don't always need to be here.
Yeah, he's at the head of the table at dinner.
Sitting next to Dorit. Not even sitting next to Kyle. Sitting next to his mistress, Dorit, allegedly.
They're coming for you.
Yeah, and you gotta add the allegedly just in case. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if like someone tried to pull this in Atlanta.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking, and that's what I was saying to Matt, my partner. I was like, if this was New York, Ramona Singer, or Kenya and Sheree, or anybody, they would rip these women to shreds.
I have to throw this out here because I too am a Cancer. So the comment that we have from DM Rocks is, I'm the zodiac sign Cancer, which DM, you can steal this from me, but when I like to make people laugh about this, I'm like, oh, I am a Cancer both astrologically and to society. I always get a chuckle. So you can steal that one from me for sure. I can't believe I share it with Erika and Lisa Rinna, but I am okay with sharing it with Dorit, which okay. I mean, Dorit to me is like boring as fuck, but At least like
I would take the Dorit side of the spectrum than the Erika and Lisa Rinna side. Like if it's a scale, I want to be on that side of the scale.
yeah, I choose not to believe in astrology for the reason of like this is who I'm aligned with because of the month I was born in.
I have to
But don't
look up
worry,
Real
DM,
Housewives Libras.
you and me, we can outweigh the cons both literally and figuratively of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and being a Cancer. So
I'm looking to see the zodiac signs of as we discuss. Anyway, I'm scrolling just to
I
see
said to
who's a
Katie at the
Libra.
beginning of this, I'm like, we're gonna have a hell of a podcast.
We
So
are. What?
we
Oh
are.
no,
Who is it?
Kelly Dodd.
Ha! You were like not team Kelly Dodd, but you were
No,
defending Kelly
I'm
Dodd.
never team Kelly Dodd.
I
I
didn't say
said
that.
I would be appropriate. It would be I would take her back on the show for like a minute. I said that. But I think I took that back only because I watched her YouTube like review of the OC and she kept it real. But no, she's a garbage person. There's gotta
Any
be more.
other notable Libras?
Monique Samuels, which also not my favorite. Jackie Goldschneider, my least favorite Real House. No, that's not true. Melissa's my least favorite Real Housewife of New Jersey.
Oh my god, I cannot wait to talk New Jersey.
I can't wait either. I can't wait. All right. I think that's all I about. These websites are annoying.
Okay, well, we can keep going. So we don't need to talk about them skiing. We don't need to talk about them snowmobiling. We can talk about their little talks like in the middle of their activity.
Sure.
Specifically the snowmobiling one, I think was interesting because you've got Garcelle, Sutton, Erika, and Shuri.
Yep.
And I do have a
Shuri was even
question,
on this show.
which is like, why didn't Garcelle get to drive a snowmobile? Did she just not want to? She
I
was
don't
like
know.
sidecarring it the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a
So
good
that
question.
was interesting to me. Like, did Garcelle's license get suspended? Is she not allowed to? I'm just kidding. I'm not putting that out there. I don't know anything. But it was just weird to me that Garcelle was just like for the ride along.
Speaking of Garcelle, before I forget, I'm diverging a little bit. Did you see that she's feuding with? She's not. Did you see Nicki Minaj is feuding with her?
I saw that something, but I did not read into it at all.
Came for her 14-year-old son again. Like this kid cannot catch a break.
Yeah, he needs to like the witness protection program or something.
Yeah, what is going on? She's mad because Garcelle did an interview with the woman that her husband allegedly assaulted, which we know Nicki Minaj is a sexual assault apologist and just look up her brother and you'll see.
Yeah.
I won't get too deep into it, but her husband as well.
Mm-hmm. And so she's mad at Garcelle for like having a career.
Having an interview. Yeah, having a career. I'm
like
not
doing
going to
her
say too much on Nicki Minaj because I don't want the barbs coming for me, but yes.
Yeah, I didn't look into this. So I saw something. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Valencia said that Nikki fused with everybody.
Yes. I know there's like some stuff going on with Cardi B. I can't, and Megan Thee Stallion, I like can't get into it. I'm like, honestly, I saw some screenshots of her fans like threatening to like murder people. And I was like, you know what? I'm just never publicly, as I'm commenting here on Nicki Minaj, I'm never publicly commenting on her again. I'm not saying one way or another. I'm just sharing the news.
I wonder if Nicki Minaj's feuds are purposeful and, you know, like picking the right people at the right time. So I feel like if you were to do a timeline of people she's feuded with,
press, you know,
and yeah, like what that other person is doing at that time, like anyway. So enough Nicki Minaj talk for one day. We have the four of those women sitting at this table, and they bring up obviously last night, and so one of the women, I can't remember who. I think it was Erika. Didn't Erika basically say like you need to be like better at apologizing?
Yeah, she basically was like something about your apologizing. The apologies are just like aren't hitting.
Yeah. And I do think that Erika means what she's saying and not in a mean way. Like
Yeah.
there
It seems
is a friendship there in a way. Like, I don't know if friendship's a word. There's some sort of like, maybe not even respect. I don't know. What, kinship
I
maybe?
guess maybe kinship. It did seem like she was trying to give her like constructive criticism, just like being like, "Hey, you could work on this. Like, obviously, there's something about your apology, so just like think about what you're saying." That's kind of like the vibe it came off as.
And Erica, to her defense, was like, listen, I get it because I'm the one who is constantly fighting with people on Instagram and you make me feel something and I just spit out this emotion. So like I understand how um some of the like maybe some of the things you say could be like that. Like I'm not criticizing, but like I get it. I need to be better about it too. But I don't feel that Sutton is that way.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to like relate
Yeah.
their like communication issues because to me they're two entirely different things.
Yeah. I think they're just both bad communicators in different
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. I think that Sutton kind of just like puts her foot in her mouth more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Erica just hides behind this like wall of insecurity by being like a
Yeah.
big bad bitch.
Yep. I agree.
So, um, does anything else come up at that table that is we do say here Sutton say that, well, yeah, I'm gonna go to dinner tonight. Like Garcelle's like, how do you think that's gonna go? She's like, I don't want to be near Diana. I'd rather sit next to Erica.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, "I like you," and then they're like, "I like you."
Yeah, they just need to get over. And Garcelle even said like they need to get over their shit. Like they need
Yes.
to get past their issues. They have a lot in common. It's just there's some things that need to be sorted.
Yes. And DM makes a point about Jennifer Lawrence calling Erica evil and the season boring. Jennifer Lawrence gave like a really great run through of what's going on this season. She's like, it's boring, but I'm gonna finish it just because like I'm already watching it. And then they were like, what do you think about this person? And she's like, oh yeah, Erica's evil. It was pretty great. It's a quick clip. I think it's on Instagram. I saw it on Instagram, but it's probably in like Queens of Bravo or something.
I saw it. I like didn't watch it, but I saw like four people sitting on the couch and one of them being Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes,
I
that's the
feel like
clip.
what no, I won't get into that because I don't want to be wrong.
She brought up some like deep cuts from like Roni too about like Cartagena. I was like, damn, she like goes deep.
She knows her shit.
She does.
I saw a funny Jennifer Lawrence video on TikTok where she like would pop out on the street and be like, name 5 Jennifer Lawrence movies, and some people recognized her and were just like too starstruck to say anything. And
That's funny.
one woman was like, I can't name any Jennifer Lawrence movies, but what about Jennifer Aniston? And Jennifer Lawrence is like, yeah, she definitely is in better movies and she's prettier. And this woman like starts feeding into it, just being like, yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
God.
And so then Jennifer Lawrence is like, I'm Jennifer Lawrence, by the way.
There's nothing that confuses me more than a Jennifer Aniston stan, but we can continue. She's just like a piece of paper.
Yeah, I mean, it's like those I think the like Christmas decorations, like the gingerbread men that you cut out like a ton of,
Yes.
and they're all like holding hands
Yeah.
linked. It's like she's the same thing like time
Yeah.
after as she has been since she's been Rachel.
Totally.
So I really like Jennifer Lawrence. I was thinking, I'm like, I could easily name 5 Jennifer Lawrence, and I'm not a
Yeah.
big
4 of them are Hunger Games movies. So like
oh, I
it's pretty
because I was
easy.
talking to Velvet, and I was like, "There's 3 Hunger Games movies, but there was
I think
4.
there's 4 because they broke the last one up into 2,
One
right?
into 2. Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that entirely. So I definitely could name 5 because then there's Silver Lining Playbook. You've got American Hustler. She was in some movie named Mother that I guess like fucked her up. But okay, good to know that if Jennifer Lawrence jumps out at me in the streets of Chicago, I'm ready for her.
Yep.
I would love to hang out with her. I think she's so funny. Okay, so back to TM. Thanks for that tangent. Is back to Beverly Hills. So I don't think anything really important happened at their conversation when they like got Bloody Marys after skiing. Which did they go back out on the slopes? Because it makes me nervous
No
when people
idea.
drink and ski. Like that's That just is scary. But
I have no idea.
so yeah, so let's keep going. Afterwards, the women go back to their establishments and they get ready for dinner. We go out to dinner where Mauricio's at the head of the table, which, like, why? I didn't
Why?
know that you're a real housewife. Where's your tagline,
I
Mauricio?
can't.
I won't only trump you in real estate, but I'll vote for him too. That would be Mauricio's tagline.
And follow his whole family on Instagram while I'm at it.
Uh, the only
Trash.
family tree I care about are the Richards. Is that his last name? No.
No,
What's
he's an
Mauricio's last
Umansky.
name? Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. And the Trumps. Like, get
Mm-hmm.
Mauricio, if you end up being a housewife, let me know. I got lines, taglines lined up
Yeah,
for
those
you.
are pretty good. Coming up with them at the top of your head. That was pretty
Thank you. I
impressive.
did not think about this before right now.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Gracias. At dinner, we have Erika and Garcelle sitting next to each other. And conversations throughout last episode and this episode, especially from Garcelle, are like, yo, this woman has $750,000 earrings that were bought with the money that her husband embezzled from dead people.
Yeah.
She should give them back. And
Yeah.
prior to going on the Aspen trip, like the day that they left, essentially, or like the day before, she had to talk about this on The Real, which was the show she was on that is no longer filming. And she had intentions of giving Erika a heads up because it wasn't airing until after their trip, which is like great luck by Garcelle. Like,
great luck.
because
Although,
otherwise this trip,
it's not like it really went that well anyway.
at least Garcelle like had to have the conversation herself, and it wasn't like, why did you say this on TV? Erika can say, like, you said this, or like, there's still, I mean, I'm not even finishing a sentence, but when all this went down, Brett just came down, so I'm sure something's up. Give me 1 second to complete this sentence. When Erika and the women are like at the house after, and Garcelle's talking about it to Crystal and whoever else, she's like, come over here, Erika. I don't want to talk behind your back. So like,
right.
At least Garcelle got to say everything to her face.
That's true. And she did, other than saying, I talked about this on my show. Because she pretty much was just like, yeah, I'm definitely not giving Erika a heads up that I spoke about this on The Real after this conversation.
Yeah. So at least she got to do it to her face, and it, like, because otherwise this whole Aspen trip has a totally different vibe to it.
Totally.
But it starts at dinner where the two of them are sitting in the corner, and Garcelle's just like, I don't understand why you won't, out of like compassion for these victims, just give up these earrings. Like, it can help people.
Erika was already bragging about all of the fashion that she had, like all of these alligator bags and like whatever else, all these things that she had. So that's, I think, where the conversation started. And then she corrected Garcelle and was like, no, they're not 750,000, they're 1.3. So she's like, so they're 750,000 each, which is bad math, but it's okay. So I don't really know, like, are they $750,000? Are they $750,000 each? Like, I really don't know.
You think that there's a chance that
well, Erika said they're 1.3 million. She corrected Garcelle and was like, they're actually 1.3.
Wow. So that puts them each at like 650.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, 1.3 divided by 2 would be my guess. Either way,
right,
it's a lot of fucking money for earrings.
Yeah.
So Erica's like, how do we know that this money is like the ones that bought them? And I don't have to give them back because this is now being done out in the court of law, and I don't need to. Like, no, let the court do its thing, let justice do its thing. And Garcelle's point is like, even if they weren't purchased with this money, like, why not do something that can be helpful and compassionate?
Yeah.
Erika's not having it.
Yeah. No, she's not having it. She's very much like, I'm just doing what the court says to do, which, like, I know that I didn't read a lot about this lawsuit, that she was just like, admonished of any guilt or whatever for one of the fraud lawsuits. I feel like there's a bunch of different lawsuits, so I don't know which one this was. I don't even really care that much to look into it. But if you really like, this makes it hard to say like, well, Erika didn't know. And even if she didn't know what she was signing or doing or involved in, like, now what was happening. So don't you feel like gutted that you have all of this like blood money, basically? Maybe not blood money, but like blood diamond earrings. Like it's you got this off of stolen money from the families of people who died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
And she's out there not admitting, she's out there saying like, we don't even know if the money is, if there are people that die. It's like, she's denying that the plane crash even existed, basically. She's like a 9/11 truther out here. Like, I just don't even know like what she's doing. It's like really, truly wild.
I want an interview with her lawyer. I want to hear her lawyer say, yes, we told her that she should not show any compassion because then it would be a sign of guilt. Like, I want to know who told her this, because it is more and more apparent that, like, to me at least, no one told her to be this way. She is deciding to be this way.
She's a monster. She's just a monster. There's no other way around it. She thinks it's like cute to be a fucking asshole, and it's like really not cute to be a fucking asshole.
Yeah, especially for the situation that she's in.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
So part of like the conversation that comes up at dinner, Diana becomes like oddly defensive for Erika. I wouldn't say of Erika, but for Erika, where she's like, if it's that big of a deal, then like, why don't you donate money, Garcelle? I'll do that
because
right
it's
now.
not Garcelle's fucking husband that stole money from dead people. That's why, you fucking asshole. That's why I hate Diana. I don't think I've ever hated a housewife more than I've hated Diana. And I hate a lot of housewives, like a lot of them.
So she just surpassed Melissa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't even know if Melissa's in my top 5, honestly. If she's not, she's like 6. She might be. At this point, she might be. But I don't know if I would list her in my top 5.
Yeah, like, I want to know why Melissa didn't end up at Teresa's wedding, because right now I'm in a point where they're like getting along and I enjoy seeing them together. So the downfall must, I mean, given like we saw parts of last season, or not parts of last season, we saw last season. I just want to know. I just want to know. It's hard like being in the past while also knowing the present. So, but anyway, so we've got this conversation starting at dinner. Did anything else worthwhile come up at dinner?
No, just the shopping bag, but we like talked about that already.
Yeah. So the women go back to not Kyle's house, but like the Aspen house, like the fancy house, which
where they actually have room to film and do things, because Kyle's house is like the most awkward layout.
Yeah, again, like, why did you even need to go to Kyle? Couldn't they all fit in the Aspen house, especially if Diana's not going to be there?
And Dorit left. Let Kathy stay at this house. Of course, Kathy's going to want to stay with Garcelle, Sutton, and Crystal over. Those are like who she's actually friends with.
Yeah. Also, she wouldn't be on a bunk bed.
Right.
So,
in a basement.
With no closet
hangers.
space.
Yeah, no closet space.
There were hangers. There
were hangers, just nowhere to put them.
So we've got...
Also, wait. Kathy was sleeping with 2 throw pillows, by the way. She was not even sleeping on like a real pillow. Those looked like 2 like couch throw pillows.
That's funny.
I don't know what's going on in this basement bunk bed.
Maybe it's like humanize her a little bit. Maybe Kathy made this conscientious decision of let me sleep on a bunk bed with throw pillows so people know that I'm just like them.
Kyle tried to say on Watch What Happens Live that she wanted the quietest bedroom and this is what she wanted. And I'm like, I'm going to highly doubt that, but okay.
So once the women get back to the big house, we've got Lisa Rinna encouraging Cherie to eat an edible. And I'm left to assume that Lisa, Kyle, and Cherie ate them. Maybe Sutton. Like, you had like the couch crew, which like was just sitting there like staring at the the argument happening at like the bar
Mm-hmm.
part, which to me was almost like the Real Housewives were watching an episode of Real Housewives. Like that
Yeah, it
little
did kind of
group
look like that.
was just like watching the drama unfold.
What I don't like about these housewives doing edibles, because we saw it in the OC too,
Mhm.
and then we see it here. It's like we see these like
Rich white
horrible
women.
old, yeah, rich white women making a great old time, having fun, making jokes about doing edibles, being like, just take a bite. And then it's like there are people in jail for nonviolent drug offenses for like ever, and it
Mhm.
ruins their life. But you're
Mhm.
on a TV show, an affluent old white woman like giggling about taking an edible. That I just feel like that's a little tone deaf.
I mean, if the housewives aren't tone deaf, then what are
Well,
they?
it's like we don't maybe don't show it.
Yeah.
Maybe just
No.
don't show it.
Yeah, I think that
Do a little lobbying. How about that? You're gonna eat these edibles, go fucking donate your money to someone that's gonna change the law.
I agree. I mean, look, Kim Kardashian lives in that state and she's for freeing people from jail for
Yeah, but
things.
she endorsed that really awful guy who's running for Congress,
Oh, she
governor,
did?
whatever. Rick Caruso. Is that his name? Rick Caruso? I don't remember. Yeah, she did.
Maybe.
And so did Kyle. So, and her husband's a MAGA psycho. So
Who is Rick Caruso? I don't.
I think that's his name. He was like formerly Republican and then like also like really bad on crime and then like moved to be a Democrat. I think that's his name, Rick Caruso.
Oh, so it's like
He's
Trump
like a
Jr.
businessman.
essentially. Oh,
Yeah.
so it is okay. So it is Trump Jr.
He
Join
is
Rick
running
Caruso's
for
campaign for mayor of
mayor.
Los
Mayor.
Angeles.
Yeah, but apparently he's horrible. So
It says political party. This is funny. Wikipedia fucking coming for him. Political party Democratic 2022 through present.
yeah, like he's trash, but he's endorsed by Kim Kardashian and Kyle and all these other trash
Where's
women.
the other political affiliations? Republican before 2011, semicolon, 2016 to 2019, and then independent 2011 to 2016, and then 2019 to 2022.
Yeah, like the guy's a mess. The guy's a mess.
You know what, Wikipedia, I might give you $2.75 for that knowledge that you're asking for at the top of my screen because that made me laugh.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anyway, I meant none of what I said about that seriously. With Kim Kardashian, I know jack shit about her.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say jack shit, but I know very little. She's not in my reality TV scope.
You're better off.
So, we've got Rinna just wanting to be high, and you've got Crystal and Garcelle talking more about the Erika situation and the earrings. And Garcelle was like, Erika, come over here because I don't want to talk behind your back. I want to say it to your face.
Well,
And
before this, we have Kathy talking about her tequila,
oh, Jesus
trying to get
Christ.
everyone to do. It seems like this is the source of the drama of Aspen, which, if this is true, we were led to believe that there were like crazy things that Kathy did, which maybe they're coming. I don't know. Crazy things that Kathy did in Aspen to make these people hate her and like bully her off the show, basically, and cause a rift between her and her sister. And if it's literally all she did was ask them to do a bottoms up with the tequila that she and Paris and whoever invested in, and Nikki and her husband, like Kyle, there's a lot of gifs and videos and TikToks and whatever out there of all of the times that Kyle and Mauricio have worn the agency hats on the show and stayed at places based on the like that the agency got for them and blah 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 whatever. We really can't just let this lady let these people take a sip of tequila and then keep it moving.
Isn't it like 60% of these women are pushing a business, if not more?
How many Rinna Rosé parties did we have?
At least
How
two.
many Rinna beauty parties have we had?
More than that. More
How
than
many
two.
Erika Jayne hair things or shoe things or what? Like every season we have something.
Street bathing suits.
Yes,
We've got...
yes. Holmus not toothless. We can take a bottoms up of tequila for Kathy, for your sister, Kyle.
I mean, weren't we just earlier this season at the store opening for Kyle? It was like
How
episode
many
two-
store openings have we been to and fashion shows for this Kyle by Sahita? Whatever, is that her name? Sahita?
Yeah. So
It's just
if,
like
if that's a
unbelievable.
drama, I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
In next week's preview, Did you say you saw the preview?
I'm sure I did, but I mean, like I said, I was half working, sitting on a beanbag in the middle of an empty living room. Like
Sounds like a dream.
my it would have been, except like it just was hard to be positioned in like a laptop friendly way. So,
Understandable. In next week's preview, they show Lisa Rinna at a bar in Vale or wherever they are, Aspen.
Aspen.
Aspen. Wrong Housewives trip.
I was gonna say, I think that was
Yeah,
Salt Lake
Salt Lake.
City.
Ordering, saying, I'm going to try my friend Kendall Jenner's 818
Oh,
tequila.
right.
And Kathy storms up. She's like, my sister never has my, and she's right. She's right. Just have a sip of, like, come on, Renee. You're not like sticking the knife in and twisting it a little bit. Are you friends
'Cause
with Kendall Jenner, really?
we have to, I mean, her daughter is like exes with what?
Scott Disick.
Yeah, so that means, is their relationship the best? Anyway,
Right.
because we still have to see that scene of Rinna and Kyle sitting on the couch across from Kathy, and Rinna doing that like classic face that she did with like Denise. Like,
Yeah.
you're so mad.
Yeah.
You're so mad.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. Like, oh, we still have that. Oh my God, there's still so much left, and it's gonna be over fucking tequila.
I know. I know. I really think it's over this. I think Kathy loses it and she probably says something about Kyle and then Rinna goes and tells Kyle and then it causes a rift.
I can't believe we have like 7 more weeks of this show.
I can't believe it. I'm so done.
At least we've got Potomac, which we haven't gotten to talk about it together yet, which is exciting to me. And
God, you're
Salt Lake
right.
City. Yeah. So we've got some good to outweigh the bad, and we've had Atlanta along with this. It's just like,
I'm just ready to graduate to the next group. Like I'm done with this group. Even Atlanta, I love them. We both love them. I'm good with the, a reunion's fun and fluffy and whatever for the most part. I'm just like ready to be, okay, let's put these ladies in a box and let's move on to the next. It's been too long.
see, I don't feel that way about Atlanta. I feel like the season went by super fast.
I think it did.
I'm interested to see what we get out of the reunion episode, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Okay, so let's finish up this Beverly Hills episode. So Garcelle calls Erika over, and Erika just kind of like hulks out here, and not in a good way. Where
No, not in a good way.
she again starts talking about like the justice system and like, who are you to believe what, and why should I have compassion for these people, and just a lot of, and like, the only person I care about is me. I care about me. So there's just a lot of very evil self-centeredness. I'm a big believer in like, you need a certain amount of self-centeredness in order to be able to operate for others, but she's way past my metric on that. She's so far beyond it, and she's just so angry through it all. It's not a conversation.
No.
All of it is defensive.
Yeah.
And I don't think that
wild.
anybody was like coming at her in a way that justified her responses. If she were to have a conversation, I think she could at least like, I don't know if Kyle flips out on her if she has a conversation versus this like, no one else matters but me, the victims, who cares, like who's a victim, that type of thing.
I don't think that she's capable of having a conversation about this without losing her shit, which is I think what also makes her seem very guilty. Even if she is or not, I think it's the fact that she like gets so angry and then questions that there are victims. I mean, Crystal, I have to say, like, she hasn't really been giving us a ton this season, but here she really delivered and like held her ground, and she was like, people died, dude, like what the fuck, like, I think everybody was just like, oof, this is not great.
And Kyle, as usual, like inserts herself when it's not about her, and
Yep.
gets to the point where has kind of been like the talking point, I would say, of this episode, if you're following along online, which is like Kyle finally stands up to Erika.
Yeah, finally.
And she says, like, listen, you're my friend, and I can't defend what you're saying right now. Like, you have to care about the victims. And I think Kyle even like called Erika a victim. And Erika's like, I'm not a victim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a wife that's had to endure like a bad marriage or something.
Yeah, this is like probably the worst showing. I just don't even know what to say because I feel like Erika said it all and like just shine a light on how awful she truly is. Like this is her at her core. I feel like she let her true self shine through and it's just gross.
I don't know like how Erika comes back from this, or if you are like one of the women on the cast who's been like defending Erika. Like how do you still after this? Because
Right.
there's three other people in that room who have had your back regardless of all the allegations, the accusations. Like
Mm-hmm.
Kyle has gone to bat for you. Lisa Rinna has gone to bat for you. And to an extent, Dorit has as well. Like,
Right.
I feel like Dorit is probably like the least of the three, but she's still with that side. Like,
Yeah.
how do any of them?
Well, Rinna's just like shuffling her out of there. She's like, all right, we gotta go. We
I
gotta
mean,
get out of here.
okay,
We gotta go.
to me, like, Rinna, wow. Way to kind of like ride or die here for her in a way.
What a friend.
Yeah.
What a
Like,
friend.
way to get her out of there. I did appreciate that decision because one, it allowed the episode to end, and two,
Yes.
that like, okay, Rinna, like, look at you having some sense of loyalty here. However, you're defending a piece of trash.
Yeah, I don't even know if she was defending her. And I'm not defending Rinna. Trust me, I can't say Rinna.
Protecting, maybe is a
I
better
almost feel
word.
like she was just like, all right, we just gotta go de-escalate this situation. Like this is not going anywhere good. Like let's
Yeah.
just leave. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here. But like I wouldn't be leaving with Erika in that situation. Couldn't be me.
Mm-hmm.
Could
Which
not be me.
Kyle didn't.
No, and they went back to her house.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
But on Erika's way out, she was yelling everything and anything she could think of. I do wonder, because this has been a common theme with Erika throughout the season, is like, how many drinks have we had? Which
Yeah.
doesn't
It's a good
justify it,
question.
obviously, but like, listen, if you are even having this type of moment with people who are trying to like look out for your best interest, because I don't think anyone there was like, Erika, you are a piece of shit for what you have done. We're just asking for you to have some compassion.
Right. Right.
I just like, where does she go from here? She has so few people who are yes men to her anymore
Mhm.
that like, how do you even come back next season after this? Like, are you gonna try and have some redemption arc? I don't know.
No, she's gonna be like indignant and be like, I got off my lawsuit. Like I told you guys. Like even the other day, she was posting saying like, stand your ground or some shit on her Instagram story. It's like she's proud of who she is and how she acts. It's like really wild.
Mm-hmm.
No self-awareness whatsoever.
I can't believe we have to watch more of this.
Neither can I. I'm not ready.
So in conclusion, next week we might get some tequila drama. Is there anything else you want to talk about from Beverly Hills?
No.
Okay, great. Let's switch into
I hate these ladies.
let's switch into the Atlanta reunion.
Wait, there is one thing.
Go
because,
for it.
you know, last week, Diana, I don't know if this happened before we spoke. I think it happened the day that the episode came out. So we probably haven't spoken about it yet, but Diana donated $100,000 supposedly to the victims of the Lion Air crash that Tom Girardi stole money from.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit of a shady business with whatever this donation is. I haven't read too much about it, but it seems like it's a corporation that she or whatever just started, like a nonprofit that she started. I don't know. It's all very weird, but it's very interesting timing because she said in that episode, why don't you donate, Garcelle? So she really did it just to, once again, trash Garcelle.
Mm-hmm.
So Diana's a pig is all I have to say. Actually, I like pigs, so she's just trash.
Yeah. Diana, we heard, was not at the reunion because she was very sick and she was only on like for one segment. Like she wasn't even on Zoom for the whole thing.
This lady is a full-time housewife.
Hopefully not next season.
She posted something on her Instagram story. I saw on Reddit that she posted like sometimes
sunsets
something. Yeah. So hopefully she's a one and done. Like I think she's probably one of the most hated housewives of all time. She has to be.
One of the worst housewives of all time. Just like in terms of
I think she's my number one most hated housewife. I'm thinking through it. Since I said that before, I can't think of anybody that I hate more than her.
I would have to like because
Maybe
I
Siggy Flicker
forget
because
so many.
she's literally
Oh my god,
a
I cannot wait to talk about New Jersey.
insurrectionist. But yeah,
Oh, she
okay.
is.
Well, not her, but her son or stepson is. But she supports. She's a QAnon psycho.
Oh my god, I
She's
can't wait
an
to talk about New
insurrectionist by
Jersey.
proxy. So yes, she is basically.
Man, we're gonna have such a good time at the end of
I
this
can't. Yeah. Okay.
podcast.
I'm ready.
I'm so
I told
excited.
you. I told you. Wait till you get to
Whew,
the next season with
whew.
Margaret and Siggy.
All right. Um, damn it. Now I'm all thinking about is pigtails. Okay, so Atlanta. Atlanta.
Yes.
We are in our first reunion, and um, first reunion episode, I think probably of which we talked about a little bit earlier in our podcast. And not to like skip to the end too quickly. However, when I saw like the reactions online, because I didn't watch it until like 2 hours ago,
Mm-hmm.
it was I saw a lot of positive things about Marlo and
Yeah.
like people saying like we wish we saw more of this during the season and she didn't like wait until the reunion. And so I was like, oh, I wonder what we're getting out of Marlo. And a lot of times I feel this way, and maybe it's just because like I'm an asshole, is that when I see things online, I'm automatically skeptical and I just like build it up. Not I build it up, I feel like the internet builds it up in a way where then I watch it, I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
it. But I felt like the internet did an accurate job of letting us know, like, okay, we get some heavy Marlo stuff here, but it didn't feel like forced or anything. It
No.
felt like I was glad we got to see this. And it was kind of tying into like what I was saying in the last episode of the last or like the season finale of Atlanta. It's like, why are we like shoving in this mom piece of Marlo here? Like, why
Mm-hmm.
are we not either expanding on this or like save it to next season? And so I don't know, maybe it's like a building block for Marlo for next season, but it allowed us to, I think, be a building block for the reunion, which is
Yeah.
that like we got this, I don't want to call it heavy, but like really deep and vulnerable and raw conversation on Marlo
Mm-hmm.
that I enjoyed listening to.
I want Marlo to write a book or do an audiobook that I can listen to because I don't want to read it. I want to hear her say it to me. But I'm still so happy. I know you were not a super Marlo fan when the cast got announced. I don't not that you are one right now either, but I'm just so happy that she finally got her peach full time and that like she really is showing up and showing us a different side of herself and she's being so vulnerable and telling us so much about her past. Like it just opens up so much about who she is and why maybe we've seen her react in some of the ways that we've seen her react in the past. And I don't always agree with everything that Marlo does or says, but I just love her as a personality on the show and as a full-time housewife. I think she's great.
Yeah, I've definitely grown appreciation for her as a housewife. Um, Maybe not necessarily as like a person, but as a housewife, where like what she's bringing to our like our TVs week after week, I
Mm-hmm.
do definitely appreciate that, and I think it's interesting, and I'm wondering if you know more about this. Um, how she even talked about like I've been brought back season after season and like wasn't made a housewife. Like I was a friend of for however long. Um, and she kept kind of saying like they wouldn't let me be on. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know anything
Mm-hmm.
about that?
There were a lot of rumors back when like she first got on the show because if you remember that fight that she had with Sheree where they were like "Woo, woo." I think it was in
Yeah.
South Africa. Is that where they were? Was it South Africa?
I don't know. I just remember there being a staircase. I don't know what
Yeah.
country they were in,
I
but
think they
when they
went
were
to
like
South. I
back
don't
and forth
remember.
in people's faces,
Yes. Um, and
in
she
each other's faces.
used a homophobic slur in that
Oh,
conversation. And the rumor was always that like Andy wouldn't bring her on the show because of that.
uh-huh.
Also, Andy's a racist. So it's fine that in his mind that Joe Giudice says it or whatever. But, you know, and the guy, who's that guy? What's his name? Danny? Danielle's bestie from
Yeah.
season 2. But
Oh
like,
gosh, like
Marlo says that she's not on the show because Andy's low-key a racist, high-key a racist. So that's like the rumor, but it also seemed like they were kind of talking about how like Andy was saying that she like wouldn't open that side of herself.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was saying that in the reunion a little bit. So maybe like that's what it is, but I don't know. But it does feel like she was almost like punished for a really long time, because when you look at the people that have been full-time housewives, even the girl that was on last season who's not, what was her name? Who's not with us anymore? I mean, she's with us on Earth, but just not on the show. Not Drew. I barely watched last season.
I'm blanking. Not the one that was Kenya's friend, right?
Yes, that one. Yeah.
But
I
I
don't
think she
remember
was
her
only
name.
a friend of.
No, I think she was
She was.
full-time.
I'm pretty sure she wasn't. I think she was just a friend of. Um,
Okay, if she was a friend
real.
of, then I take it back. But just the fact that like Marlo has delivered all of these years of just like funny moments and true, genuine relationships with these women, whether or not they were like positive relationships or not, like it just seems like she was being punished for something. I don't know that we'll ever know the true story, but the rumor for a long time was it that she said the gay slur,
Got it.
homophobic slur.
Yeah, it was only the 5 of them last season. It was
Oh, okay.
Drew, Portia, Kenya, Candy, and Cynthia.
Oh, okay. I thought she was a full time. Okay,
But she
so I take that
was
back.
she was in there a lot, and she like it was basically her versus Drew like the whole season.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
yeah, but she was only a friend of. Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that because it seemed like they were dancing around this idea of not being
yeah.
able to be on, and I didn't know what they were referencing, so that makes some sense. Okay.
I
We're
don't
kind
know
of
if
starting at that.
that's all kind of like
Yeah, it's like
rumored, but
maybe this
I don't
is
know.
what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Well, because even when Marlo and Candy were going at it a bit, and Candy's like, yeah, I'm mad because you are going on a platform with millions of people saying that like I don't help people when I tried to help you get your own show, and like telling people that I don't help people. Like I've tried to help you so many times before. And in that whole sequence, Candy also implied the same thing that like Marlo's implying. Like when they wouldn't let you on, I was trying to get you your own show. And so I'm like, what are they dancing around right now? Like,
yeah,
what is this?
yeah. That part was interesting. I was kind of on Marlo's side there, because I think we've seen Candy with some contracts. Like, remember when she had the musical with Portia, and even Portia was like, "I don't want to sign this contract." Like, I want to know what's in Candy's contracts, and I do feel like I kind of believe Marlo saying like, "No, it was actually Todd. Like, it wasn't really you." I mean, I'm basing it on
Mm-hmm.
nothing other than that conversation, but just like seeing how upset Candy got and seeing Marlo just be like, nope, that's not how I remember the story at all. Like it almost seemed like, what are you so upset about, Candy?
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, we know that Candy came into this not really wanting to like see Marlo. That's what she said at the
Yeah.
beginning. Like, were you least excited to see Marlo? Um, yeah, I'm not gonna like plant a flag with that one because I don't know. If I were to
Yeah.
guess, I think it comes back to like Candy and Todd move as a unit more or less in their business deals. So like by asking Todd for something, you're asking Candy and Todd for something. And so maybe
Yeah.
Candy sees it that way cuz I mean, Andy chimed in and was like, actually, she does pitch shows all the time. Like she's pitched shows for different people or whatever. And when they cut to like Candy's like I don't know, is it a
I
YouTube
think it's
show
a
she's
YouTube
doing?
show.
That she was like, it was on a different network, so it wasn't even like she was pitching it to Bravo people. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever the truth of it is, but um I did think it was interesting that like Candy also implied like the time when you weren't allowed to be on here. So whatever. Okay, that's good to know that that might be why it is, but we do have Marlo as a full-time housewife now.
Yep.
And
Yep.
um Marlo and Sheree, like being in the seats closest to Andy, seemed to be a little bit of a topic of discussion. Both,
Yeah. A lot of people were like saying that this seating arrangement was really controversial, and I disagree. Like, who else should have been sitting next to Andy other than Marlo and Sheree? They carried the season.
yeah,
Who else?
no, I agree.
Seems weird. I don't know why people were so upset about the seating arrangement.
No, I agree with you. I did think it was funny that they had this like they were basically like rivered into their stage. Like they
Yeah,
had
they
the
even
little bridge.
they had a bridge, but then they like picked the bridge up, and I'm like, why can't they just leave the bridge? It's behind
Well,
Andy. It's not like we could see it.
so people can't leave.
I guess. I guess so.
You're stuck here.
Yeah.
So they recreated Jamaica with the stage, and
One thing that I hated was this like the editing that they did with the birds. I was like, we don't need to like
yes,
cut to the birds every 5 seconds. Like we get that there are birds there, but the birds are like they made it seem like the birds were commenting on the reunion. I'm like, we don't need this like comedic edit here.
yeah,
Stupid.
and you like heard them in the background a lot. I didn't need that as
Yeah,
well.
they were like that seemed like a bad decision.
The first time was funny with like the long pause of like even the birds are kind of out on you, Drew.
Yeah. But then
That
they kept
one made me
going.
laugh. Yeah, but they should have left it at that one. That
Yeah.
was one was enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we go like I don't want to say like character by character, but we it just seems like no one is on Drew's side.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
I hope she is not back next season. It even seems like Andy's kind of fed up with her.
Right. I do feel like though the Sonya part again, I was like you're doing like a little too much here. Like you're going at Drew and you're not even letting Drew respond. And it did feel like she was like upset about something really stupid.
Yeah, I don't think that Drew had I mean, Sonya had a legit reason to like
No.
have her fall out with Drew. However, the one thing I do kind of understand is Drew notoriously does talk over everybody. And
Yes.
so Sonya like continuing to talk while Drew is trying to cut her off. I did like respect that Sonya kept that going because it feels like it's something she had to practice in the mirror. Like, hey Ross, talk. Just when I try to talk, you talk, and let me just keep talking over you so I can be ready for this reunion. But I also saw Sonya trying to lay some groundwork, I think, to come back for a season 2, where she's like, I have relationships with all these women except Drew. And no one disagreed.
Yeah, she's just not my favorite. When she's like, I came on the show and I wanted to be friends with everyone, we're like, yeah, you know that you want to be friends with everyone because you were chasing everybody's clout. You were like flip-flopping from every single person. She's just something about her seems not genuine. She's not my favorite.
Yeah, she did get a decent amount of attention, I thought, in this, like, the beginning part of the reunion.
Yeah, kind of surprising.
But I could see her coming back for a season 2 and they brought Drew back for a season 2, so I can't imagine they don't bring Sonya back. I just
She'll
hope that
probably
they
be
lose
back.
Drew. I don't need any more Drew.
Yeah.
Drew's like gimmick to me is old between the props and just like her comebacks are not good. Her quips are not good to me. Like when the one that they really highlighted of just how bad it was with like the bones and like, oh, I gave her the chihuahua her treat already or whatever. Like, okay, we get it. I don't know. Hopefully Drew didn't have much impact, I feel like, in like the last 2/3 of the season. We had the Ralph drama pretty early on, so I'm hoping it's like a kind of quiet Drew reunion.
I would be good with that.
And then let's see, we had Sonya. I don't know, like we had Sonya. She was involved, but there wasn't anything where it's like, oh, okay, great.
Right. She bores me.
And then we had Sheree, and we talked about She by Sheree, and Andy was like, so the website's up? And she's like, well, it's there, but stuff isn't on. We're going to do a drop with the reunion, and as we know, it crashed. But the site is back up.
It is, and it's redesigned. But it is funny because he was like, I can click on the button and shop, and she's like, you can click on it and shop. And when the website went up, the shop button did not work for a lot of people. So it's like, ma'am, you couldn't click on button and shop. But it did, her site was down for a long time. It said
Yeah.
24 hours and it was down for way longer than 24 hours, but it is back up and it has more stuff on there. And the prices, as you and I texted about, are completely outrageous. I think there's a hoodie on there for, what is it, $252?
$252, which
Yeah.
if I'm not getting a cameo in addition to a sweatshirt,
Yeah. What are we doing, Sheree? What are we doing?
it's too much. Like, joggers are everything's so expensive. It sucks because I feel like, and I've seen this quite a few times from people even we follow on Twitter, not even like going into hashtags or anything. A lot of people being like, I wish that I got to support Sheree, but like I
Yeah.
can't for that much money.
I would have even bought like a tumbler. And even those are like over $40. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just not going to spend $40 on a shitty ass coffee tumbler.
One pair of like crew socks are $32.
Yeah, I don't know who advised her on these prices, but they're way too high. Way too high.
Someone clearly did not do like a quadratic analysis of this, which if you want to come back to my Algebra 2 class, I can teach you. Yeah, the prices are crazy. However, if we ignore the prices, I'm happy for that something is up and running.
A mug is $18.
Yeah.
That's to be $8.
You're getting
$6. A sticker is also there. It's $18.02. Everything is 2 cents. A sticker, a Who Gonna Check Me Boo sticker is $6.52. A trucker hat, $40.02. What are we doing?
Yeah, why the 2?
Why the 2 cents?
Maybe because she wants your 2 cents versus not wanting your 2 cents.
Maybe.
You know, maybe there's some. I don't think that's it though.
No, probably not.
Andy was very happy for her. He was like, I actually like cried for you.
Well, I thought that finale was great. Like,
yeah.
Just seeing everybody celebrate her and seeing her like really come up. Like, I loved seeing that. So I'm glad Andy felt the same way we did.
And it seemed like all the women did. And even now, like, Kenya's very much in her corner. Yeah. You have people really wanting Sheree to succeed, which is nice.
She has a goddamn spiral notebook on here for $35.02. A spiral notebook.
If it's not a 5-star notebook, I'm not in. I don't care who it's by.
I just don't even know what to say, Sheree. I don't know what to say. $35.02.
So, good for Sheree. We also get into a bit of her current, not boyfriend, but boo situation, which I don't know his name, but he on? Yeah.
He was on some show.
And Kenya did not even hesitate to let us know what the drama is about him, which is that
Martell Holt.
He cheated on his girlfriend and got another girl pregnant. And apparently just like doesn't come across well on this TV show.
Yeah.
What show is he on?
Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Oh, okay.
A-list show, apparently.
But as we know, Sheree is great at picking out men, so I'm sure it'll go well.
Who said, was it Drew who was like, I'll give you one thing, you don't care what anybody thinks?
Sonia said that.
Sonia said that. She's right.
So we got a little bit insight there, and anything else about Sheree really?
There was one really funny scene of them talking about her not paying, and Kenya was like, when you write a contract, you have to specifically state that if you're paying for what it is, unless you're not happy with the service, like that has to be clearly outlined in the contract. And Sheree was just like, it was like brand new information to Sheree.
Yes, because Sheree's like, they did a good job. I didn't pay. Like Kenny's like, you still have to pay.
You still have to pay.
You just don't use them again.
Specified. Right.
Yeah, that's funny.
Funny.
There definitely has to be some. I mean, listen. If so much limelight is going to be on Teresa Giudice and her money,
yes,
and like, has anybody looked into Sheree? I just
Kenya's been coming for her for years for Chateau Thelma and Chateau She Can't Pay. I mean, She Can't Pay. You know, it's like, you know, they've been coming for her for years. But Sheree's just like, yeah, no, I pay. But like, clearly she doesn't.
Yeah. And Drew's still holding like $400 over her head.
Right.
Kenya didn't have a ton of airtime this reunion so far, but she was.
Seems like her and Marlo are about to start, or
Yes.
she's going to come for Marlo because she was like, no, I don't believe you for some of the things that Marlo was saying towards the end, which I didn't love from Kenya. Because I felt like Marlo was being like, I mean, who knows if it's, if Kenya knows something we don't know, but next week it's like, that's not even your real name, you're fake, blah, blah. And I just like don't love that.
Yeah, it does seem like Kenya's forcing some drama here in a place that, like, I don't know, let Marlo have her thing. It's not a dramatic moment right now, and it seems like Kenya's kind of forcing one.
Yeah.
But that comes in at the very end, and I think we'll see more of that next week. She had some clips about, or she had like some one-off comments that were funny. There wasn't a lot of
she's
like
funny.
Kenya
She brought
focus.
comedic relief. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of Kenya focus, but to be fair, there wasn't a lot of like Kenya focus during the season either.
Right.
So she got the amount of airtime that like makes sense, I guess, in this first one. I'm sure we'll see more next week of Kenya as she starts to go for Marlo. And then we've talked about Candy a little bit, but something I didn't know that Candy was doing was this YouTube show until.
Yeah, I had heard some like gossip about it just because of some of the things she was saying about Sheree, but I never dug any further than that. I heard she was talking about Sheree's new boyfriend on the show. Everything that I heard her say off camera though was like on this YouTube show and was about Sheree. So like Sheree wasn't really lying when she was like, you use me for clickbait. And she was like, oh, like I need you for clickbait. It's like, yeah, you are talking about her a lot on the show. You're talking about her money. You're talking about her boyfriend. So
I did think it was funny when Sheree's like, I don't talk about you. And then they rolled back like 5 different comments of Sheree.
But then they did it about Candy too. She's like, well, you talk about me. Yeah. And Candy had the same.
Yeah. No, absolutely. They all do that in their confessionals though. And the bone collector thing at the beginning was also funny when they were like,
it was funny
when they were like keeping a tally. But yeah, we saw Marlo and Candy get into it a little bit, but then I think one of the things I like the most about Candy is like sorry, I don't know if you hear Nitro digging. I hate when he does this. Like, where are you digging to? This is like linoleum flooring. Is that what it's called? Like, you're not getting anywhere, my guy. So one of the things I do appreciate is like, for me with Kenya a lot of the times is that like once Kenya's mad, like she every time is a punch. Like she is trying to throw a punch at all times. I feel like maybe Marlo before this season, she still did it in moments this season, where one of the reasons I like Candy, and we know that I'm kind of drawn to the like more level-headed one of groups, is that she isn't always trying to like throw punches. Where
yes, that's true.
She was in moments being like, yeah, I now understand more about Marlo because of meeting her mom, but I didn't know all these details. And the rest of the women were like, yeah, we didn't know all this stuff. But then will defend herself whether it's right or wrong.
Yep.
She knows like when to hold back and when to like have the actual conversation. And so we saw, I feel like, a decent amount of that out of Candy in this reunion.
Yeah, agreed.
But otherwise, like, I can't remember anything else that stood out from Candy in this.
It was pretty average first episode of the reunion. Those are like usually pretty slow to start.
Yeah, we had a decent amount of behind the scenes stuff. I actually kind of liked Andy going and to each person because he did actually seem like excited to see everyone.
I think he really does like the Atlanta ladies, even though he is kind of a racist sometimes. I do think he does like the ladies in Atlanta because they're so funny and they're just like they're really great personalities on the show, especially like the Kenyas and the Sheree is an OG. She was on season 1, so it's like they definitely have a rapport. Candy, I feel like he loves. I mean, Candy has like 87 shows on this network, so he like loves her.
Yeah, she brings everybody money.
Yeah.
Candy's like Santa Claus for this place. She's just bringing everybody gifts.
Pretty much.
Yeah. If there was did we see a preview or did it just end with like Kenya going off? I can't remember.
I think we saw a preview, but I think it was just like more of the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see what's coming up.
Yeah, me too.
and round out this season again. I feel like it's gone by fast.
Yeah.
Before we get into New Jersey, what do I need to know about Potomac? What did you see in this trailer?
The Cliff's Notes are Charisse is back as a friend of, which is really exciting.
That's okay, because I'm so bad with names. That's the woman
Yes.
who was married to the basketball coach that got
Yes.
divorced, right? Okay, because I
Yep.
saw like a thing on Twitter that had her included in a picture of like the OGs from
Yeah.
season, and I'm like, where is she coming from? So
Yeah,
I didn't
she's
realize she was
back.
coming back until I saw that.
She's a friend of. I don't think she's a full time, but
Mm-hmm.
seems like her and Karen have some drama. Wendy, nope. What's the new girl's name? Mia? Is that
Yeah.
her? Mia? Mia throws a drink at Wendy at the end of the trailer, so we'll see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
There's Chris, Candace's husband, apparently was DMing Ashley at like 2 a.m. being like, "Oh, should have came to the W Hotel or wherever they were hanging out." So he apparently also has made Giselle feel uncomfortable. So there's drama there. What else? Ashley's getting a divorce, as we know, but then starts talking about how she's buying a house with Michael. There's rumors about Karen, like leaving somewhere with another guy. It's worth watching. It's worth watching. It seems like we're going to have an action-packed season, as we always do. They never disappoint.
Yeah.
Even if there's nothing that happens, watching these women on TV is fun.
They're just so funny. Like
Yeah.
Giselle alone cracks me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
too.
I meant to watch it and just forgot. Okay, I'm excited to do that. I'll do that after this. All right, let's talk about New Jersey because we said we are going to last week, and
Yeah.
now I've gotten like a season or two farther.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say something that upsets you.
That upsets me?
Yeah.
All right, let me buckle up.
I don't hate Melissa Gorga. I don't know if I necessarily like her, but I expected to like her less. However, you won't disagree with this. I fucking hate Joe Gorga. Like,
Oh, he's the worst.
he's the absolute worst. He is so misogynistic.
He's
I'm
horrible.
also in a place right now where like Melissa and Teresa are getting along. I just don't know like how much like Melissa really has control of decisions, which is sad in a way. I did appreciate when she was kind of like fighting back with him in terms of when he made these like you make crumbs, I make cakes, and doing her thing. I don't hate her. I guess I kind of like her, but I also don't hate Teresa as much as I used to.
I mean, you see the growth, right? With Teresa.
Yeah.
She starts off pretty terrible.
I do think that like this most recent season was kind of like more
Not a
of
good season.
return to earlier season Teresa. So because I remember saying to you at the beginning, I'm like, I don't think she's changed. Like but I was also in the earlier seasons. No, Teresa has some good stuff as well, but I don't like Melissa. I kind of like Melissa,
Okay.
but I'm not viewing that in like a Melissa and Teresa way. I guess trying to see her as like an individual. Like I think she has some funny confessionals. I do think that she stands up for things sometimes, like when what's her face got in her face.
Siggy?
Was it? Did Siggy get in her?
Was it
no?
about the cake?
Dolores got in her face.
Oh, yeah.
And she like didn't back down from Dolores. The whole Siggy cake thing, when like Siggy laid on the floor and everything, and Melissa reenacted it. I thought that was pretty funny too. But
Yeah.
I don't hate Melissa right now. I kind of like Melissa. Especially, I feel like if Joe just like wasn't on the screen as much, like
If Joe wasn't on the show, Melissa would not be on the show.
Right.
Joe is like more of a housewife than Melissa is, I think, at this point. At this point especially. And to me, the reason I don't like Melissa, one, is because I do blame her and Joe for everything with the Teresa, like coming on the show without telling her. I do think that's fucked up. Like, as much as she could be like, well, they emailed me, like, we didn't try and get on the show and we weren't talking. It doesn't matter. This is your sister-in-law, especially if you have like issues with her. You should tell her that you're interviewing for the show. Like,
Didn't Joe say in the one of the reunions, like, yeah, we tried to come on the show because like my sister wouldn't see me, so then she'd be like forced to see me. Like, didn't he say that in one of the
I
reunions?
don't remember.
I feel like he did, and maybe I'm just making that up. I've watched so much New Jersey. I feel like he said that when it came up in one of the reunion conversations, but I could be wrong. I feel like he made some comment along those lines.
I just feel like every storyline of hers is fake. Being a singer, that was fake. That lasted one season. Never again did we ever hear about On Display. Finding, I don't know if you're up to the part where she was like, a psychic told her that she had another sister and tried to find her, or they want to have another baby, or it's like, you're not doing any of that shit. This is all bullshit. Every single storyline you have is bullshit. The pizza place, it's all bullshit.
That's what I'm also wondering. The pizza place, like,
it's gone.
Where? Okay.
It's gone. It was open for like a couple of months. Like, it was just gone randomly.
Well, that seemed like a very dumb decision, but also Melissa seemed out on it. Like, I was on Melissa's side.
Seems like some like weird mob fraudulent shit. Another like Joe Gorga is allegedly just as much of like a scammer as Joe Giudice is. Like, it's not like he's any. Maybe he's not breaking the law as much, but like supposedly he's banned from like Home Depot or something. There's like all these rumors about how he's like trash.
Why did they start calling them the Giudices?
That's a really great question. It went like the wind. Don't know.
It came when they started like being on TV for being arrested.
Yeah, and then it's gone. I don't know.
That was very weird to me because even Andy was using it in like a season or two of the reunions, and then
it just
now we're back to Giudice.
Yep.
I could understand if someone had just been like, Giudice is actually how you say it in Italian, but like the Americanized version is Giudice. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
If someone said that to me once throughout these seasons, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Like, that happens with a lot of names. I get it. Americans are not capable of pronouncing like anything more than two syllables. I understand. So it's just weird how just like we have like Giuseppe Giudice, and I'm like, who? You mean Joe Giudice?
Yeah, one of life's biggest mysteries is why all of a sudden they became the Giudices and then just weren't anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I was very confused by that. But so I haven't gotten to Melissa's like fake storylines yet. Obviously like the singer part, but not defending, just question. They moved out of the house with the studio after, and Joe doesn't let Melissa out of like a leash length of the kids. So I wonder if that put a damper on the pop stardom. Not saying it did. I did notice
they were in that house for a while, and that was only what like her first or second season that she was on the show.
Yeah, but then they moved out like somewhat. I think like the next season was when they were in the rental house, and the season before was when she was like singing in Orlando on a stage in front of like 40 people.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So
a lot of moves and selling the house and then taking the house off the market. They're shady. They're shady.
I believe it. Do we think that it's a similar situation to Teresa's, where I think it's pretty established that like she just did what Joe told her to do. She didn't really know what was going on. Do you think Melissa knows more of what's going on than...
I think Melissa's a little smarter than Teresa.
I don't disagree with that.
Like a street smart. Like I don't find Teresa to be a dumb person. I think she's just very surface level. Like, what's here is here. Like, I don't think there's more to it. Like, where I feel like Melissa and Joe are a little more calculating than Teresa. Like, I think Teresa is just who she is. And I do think that she just signed whatever Joe was like signing. She didn't ask any questions. They were in a very traditional. But I don't think Melissa is the same way.
Yeah, they let the guy who like was finishing his GED in prison take care of all the bills.
Yeah.
So when she said that, he's like, oh, he's working on his GED. I'm like, oh, okay. Some things may make sense. So something that shocked me was the time between visits to Joe from like when her mom died. Like it
Yeah.
was like 8 months, because that means even the kids didn't go see their
Yeah.
dad for 8 months when they went every single weekend to see Teresa.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think she talks about it a lot, and I'm sure if you didn't get to it, you will, but I think things really changed for her when her mother died.
Yeah.
And that's when I think she really started to resent Joe because she lost all that time with her mom while she was in prison. So I think that's really, I think before that she was like, I'll stick with him if he stays here in the US. But I think she really started to like just have nothing but resentment build up for him because she missed out on like one of the last years of her mother's life, pretty much the last year.
Yeah. And I think I've asked you this before. Do we see like the fallout of the divorce and everything on the season, or does that happen like, is it one of those things? Because with Teresa, it sucks in that like you can't ask her questions about things that she doesn't want to answer. She doesn't,
Yeah.
as much as she knows she's a reality TV star, like she, to me, is frustrating in that it seems like she saves things for like magazine deals or like don't ask me this, where she's not like, I think the polar opposite is like Ashley Darby, who's like, I know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
doing, like,
Yeah.
um,
She
so
she opens up a little bit more about the Joe stuff, and yeah, I think she continues to open up about it. Maybe she doesn't give like 100% of everything, but she does talk a lot more about Joe, and Andy pushes her a little bit to talk about it, so you'll hear her talk more about it.
yeah, in this reunion, like the last book came out, and this was when the publishers kind of like sat her down and was like, hey, so thanks, but we need more
Yeah.
for this to actually sell. We're not giving enough people to care to buy this book.
Yeah.
So in this reunion, he says something like, has resentment start building up, and you can tell she like frames it in a way, and she's still like, I can't wait for Joe to get out and whatever. So I don't know. I kind of want to see it like happen on the show versus it being like trying to pick up pieces of information that she'll drop along the way, because when she cares about guarding information, she's very good at that, which is
Yeah.
frustrating as a viewer.
I think she just comes from a very traditional, small Italian family, so they try and keep things out of the public eye. And I think she's really trying to do her best to protect the girls. And so she probably doesn't want to say too much because it's their dad. And we see that even in like the most recent season where, Joe, asshole, was talking shit about Joe Giudice, which like, yeah, we can all hate Joe Giudice. I even think like he's almost a little more redeemable now than he used to be, but like he's horrible, but like even now in like present day, he's like a little more redeemable, but like that's her kid's dad, so she's never gonna talk bad about him. But Joe, like, Gorga wants her to be like, this guy's a scumbag, and she's like, this is the father of my children, I'm not doing that. Like, my girls love their dad, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
The Gorgas are terrible. Oh god, I hate them.
We kind of talked about Jacqueline's like last season, which she's fucking crazy. I don't know if she came back. I was surprised to see Danielle Staub back on my TV.
Yeah.
So when I first started watching, I like Googled her, and it said that she was a friend of in seasons 3 and 4 on the website that I looked at. I'm like, this bitch isn't around here. So when she showed up, I was like, oh, maybe they just had the wrong season. So
Yeah.
that was surprising to me.
I don't remember what happens in the season number you're talking about. Is this Margaret's first season or her second season?
First season.
Okay.
So Margaret is like the enemy of Siggy, and Dolores is like tolerant of Margaret, but
Yeah.
Dolores hates Danielle.
Yes, she does.
So Siggy, though, she's batshit.
Take a look at Siggy's Twitter one day when you're bored, and you'll see how batshit she really is. It's pretty bad.
When she laid on the ground, like when I just don't know how she had any leg to stand on, and I wish that more people from like the cast were there besides Melissa when she just humiliated the shit out of Melissa. That was so unnecessary. It was crazy.
Yep.
Is she done after this season? I hope so. I can't tolerate
Yes.
much more Siggy. Okay, great.
Yes.
That's good news.
Did you get to the Hitler part?
Yes.
I mean, that's wild to me.
When she
You can't say Hitler?
Yes. I think that if that conversation happened in 2022, more people
More
would
people
be
would be on
like,
Siggy's side.
yes.
Yeah,
But
I don't
I
disagree.
understood the point that Margaret was making because she
It
was
was a
trying
bad
to say,
analogy.
yeah, like, well, was it? I don't think Siggy understood the analogy. I
I
actually
don't think
thought
so either.
it was a good analogy for the point she was trying to
Maybe
make.
just
It
in
was
poor
an
taste.
inappropriate
Yeah.
analogy. Like, you
Yeah.
could have done this in a different way to make your point because the point went up and over Siggy's head.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I understood the point she was making of like, okay, well, just because this person wouldn't do this to me doesn't make them a
Doesn't
bad
mean he's not a
person.
bad
And
person.
she
Yeah.
used a very extreme example. But yeah, then when she's like, well, you're anti-Semitic, and even her dad was like, shut up, Siggy.
I
Like,
know. I know.
you're wrong. Like, stop this.
Yeah.
So, and he was a Holocaust survivor.
Right. And even he was like, "You're crazy, bitch."
Yeah. So it's just, I understand why you like New Jersey. If anything, I feel like the season that we just had was like the worst season I've watched so
Yeah,
far.
this
Of New
past
Jersey.
season wasn't great. It was like fine, but it wasn't great. Like the season that you're watching is one of the most unhinged. Is this when she goes to the posh fashion show and calls her a piece of shit cohort every day? Because that's one of my favorite Teresa moments of
Yes.
life.
Yes.
It's just so
Oh, I have to
stupid
bring that up,
and
but I need to
so
pee
funny.
so badly. Can you talk for like 30 seconds so that when we come back, I need an explanation on Kim D. Like, I just,
Sure, I don't know if I have one, but I'll try and give one.
okay, give me 30 seconds because I was like, oh, we're going to end this soon. I can wait. But no, I do need to talk about Kim D. Be right back.
Okay. Okay. I'll try and vamp. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about, but I will say that that cast trip to Italy is maybe one of the most underrated cast trips that we've had. Mostly because of the dinner where Teresa throws the glass at the wall. And I feel like it just doesn't get enough love as it should get. And New Jersey really, truly does deliver top tier drama and mess. And I just feel like more people need to respect them for the women that they are. Because they, even though Teresa is very guarded, she gives us great TV. And that's, I don't know what else to vamp with because Kari's not back yet. But I'm just very excited. I would like to campaign on behalf of Teresa. That will be part of my shout outs. Once we are live with Dancing with the Stars, I will make sure to give out the number to vote for Teresa every week. Because we need to see her win. We did it for Cody Risby last season. He didn't win, but he came in third place. And we need to get Teresa up to that level as well, because that's just going to be top tier comedy every single week. So can't wait to see how she takes on the judges. I'm talking about Teresa on Dancing with the Stars, and I'm telling everybody that I will be campaigning for her every week as part of my shout outs to make sure everybody votes, gets there. I think it's 10 votes. Get your votes in when we're ready. We need it for as long as we can possibly get it. And I can't wait to see what her reactions to the judges are going to be.
She's
Like, she's not
athletic.
going to understand what they're talking about.
No.
Like, it's just going to be hilarious.
I just want to see how she'll do. Like, I don't necessarily care about anyone's reaction to her. I just want to see, like, can she dance?
Probably not. I'm going to assume no. But you never know. Sometimes people surprise us.
She's relatively athletic. Like,
Yeah, she is.
so maybe, but I mean, like, I feel like I'm athletic, but don't ask me to do
Yeah.
any sort of rhythmic movement. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I'll watch. I'll wait for, like, the Twitter clips.
Oh, I'm definitely going to watch. I'm going to watch and I'm going to vote. And I don't know if they're changing the voting because it's on Disney Plus. And usually
Yeah.
they like, you have to vote within the episode time.
Yeah.
Because I paid attention for Cody Rigsby last season. And Caitlin Bristow the season before.
Oh, yeah. Wait, Cody, I didn't know
He
even
came in
Cody was on
third.
there. Okay. And then Caitlyn won,
She won.
right? But it was, like, controversial. Didn't people think that Neve should win when she won from Catfish? Is that a different season?
That is that season. And yes, people were rooting for Neve. But Caitlin, I like Caitlin.
Yeah. Oh, I enjoy her.
She's my favorite season of The Bachelorette.
Yeah, same, actually. That's, like, one of the biggest reasons I want to go to Ireland, because remember when they were, like, stuck in Ireland for
yeah.
so long because her and Nick fucked, and that, like,
Yep.
completely derailed the season they
Totally
had
derailed
planned.
the whole conversation, the whole season. Yes.
Yeah.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Nope. They have to have two women on to
Yeah.
to do what Caitlyn could do.
And one of
So,
them is on the season of Dancing with the Stars,
oh,
Gabby.
she is. I have not paid attention to the season of Bachelorette much. I just knew that there was two.
I haven't watched it. I tried and I was just like, I think I'm past this in my life.
I understand that. I think out. Did I watch all of Rachel's season?
I did.
I think I did. I think I did.
And I watched all of Claire
Oh,
and Tayshia's.
I watched
think
that
was
one
the last one that I
too,
watched.
but I didn't watch ones in between because there was actually someone I knew was one of the men.
Wait, who?
Jordan Chapman. He was there for a while. He was like a finance guy from New York City. He was in my brother's grade, and I knew.
Oh, we
yeah.
liked him, I think. Did we like him? I don't
He was
remember.
alright. He like I think he had like one thing where he was like he kind of like clapped back at someone, but his sister.
He was on Hannah Brown season?
No, he was on
Who is this blonde lady? Claire?
he was on Claire's season.
Oh, okay. I just see a blonde lady pinning roses to him and I'm like, Hannah, Claire? I don't know.
Yeah, it was Claire's and then Tasha. Yeah, his sister is very athletic.
Nice.
And we played soccer together a couple times. But
Oh.
yeah, my youngest brother, I don't know if they graduated together because I think my middle brother was it Melissa or Marissa? Marissa Chapman, I think. His sister's grade, and then my youngest brother was in his grade. So I watched it just to see how he did. But all right, Kim D. Where the fuck do they find this woman? Do they pay her? Like, how does she just show up,
I think
start
she's
shit,
just a
and
rat.
then leave? Like, who? I don't understand. Like, it is wild to me that New Jersey just has an influx of like old blonde women who come in and say fucked up shit and like drop this bomb and get the fuck out.
New Jersey, I don't know where they find her. I have no idea. New Jersey, I think she has like a podcast now and she's like still causing drama. I don't know. She's like a mess.
Something. What was I reading?
She was talking about
recently?
Teresa's wedding a lot on her podcast.
Yeah, and someone was on there. And then there was another podcast that someone else was on. I don't know, but whatever. It wasn't ours.
Yeah. No, it wasn't ours. But she, yeah, I don't know. I think New Jersey is so different than so many other franchises because it feels like everybody is like 6 degrees separated from a New Jersey housewife. If you live in like the New York, New Jersey area, it just feels like everybody is like, oh, I live in New Jersey and I saw like Jen doing this thing at this place. It just feels like there's more like boots on the ground gossip from Jersey than like any other season. It's very weird. Any other franchise. It's very strange.
The other thing that I've noticed, and I'm wondering what you think about this, because I know you hate like the emphasis on the husbands, like less husbands. It really doesn't feel like that right now. Like,
yeah, if that's like a more recent development. I think once like Frank and Joe really start becoming friends, it'll start next
we're
season
seeing
for
Frank.
You.
Yeah, we're seeing Frank. He just like this season's when he moved in with Dolores. And we get a little bit of Margaret's Joe, but nothing where it's like everybody's going on vacation. We're getting like segments of the men out at dinner or whatever.
You will get it next season.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering, like, I know this happens, and Katie like has talked about it happening in other seasons, but it hasn't been really that bad. Like, obviously Joe Gorga's here too much, but
I think it starts. So in the next season, I won't say too much because I don't know how much you know, but there's a storyline that centers Danielle and like Danielle's boyfriend. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's on this season, Marty. He kind of gets in the mix, and then there are like some funny moments that happen with the husbands, and like some drama comes out of it, and then I think they got probably a good reception from that, and then they just keep
going,
trying to build on the husband momentum. Yeah.
All right, so I'm in my last real like husband heavy season.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to bring up. I haven't really talked about Teresa much. Yeah, besides the fact that like you see her, I feel like she's at a much better place now than she was, or not now, like now in what I'm watching than she was on this last season, which now has me more concerned about her relationship with Louis because I know she's not single necessarily
Yeah.
in these since like post jail. However,
Yeah.
she seems far more like collected and reasonable post jail
Yeah.
than she did in this past season. I don't know if she needs to like up her yoga.
I think it's
Um,
just that like season after season after season after season, she gets put in a corner. And I think this
mhm.
past season, she probably wanted to protect her relationship with Louis. And then, you know, as soon as the season started filming, they had a party at her house and she's like, oh, you got to address the video. And then it just like shut off. And she was probably like, oh, here we go again. Like they're using me and my relationship that she's probably trying to protect, like, because she was happy. That's what I think. That's what I think.
That makes sense. Yeah, I just um I thought I thought you saw a little bit of growth in Teresa when now given she didn't like apologize or anything to Melissa, but she kind of like held it against Melissa in her own way of like giving her an attitude when Melissa was like you need to be more strict with the kids, and then
Yeah.
Gia was like mom, you need to be more strict with the kids.
Yeah.
And she like kind of had that realization, and um like clearly what Melissa said affected her, but she like didn't just use it. She wasn't like completely a bitch to Melissa by any means. Um but you can tell that she like thought about it, and then like with Gia saying it to her and like seeing her do that, I just felt like wasn't something you saw in earlier
Mm-hmm.
seasons, and in the same way like didn't really see much of that in season 12.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, it's an interesting place to be at with Teresa right now cuz I feel like if anything I've seen some regression in this most recent one, and I'm like enjoying Melissa and Teresa together, and just
Yeah.
I'm learning, I guess I'm understanding Teresa more, and something that you've said in your frustrations with this past season with Margaret make more sense to me because Margaret's been around too long, and don't tell me you didn't watch earlier seasons to like
Yeah. She
not
definitely did.
know how Teresa would react to things.
Yes.
And like I don't think it's okay how Teresa has reacted to things. Like I'm not saying this is fine, but obviously like your friends, like by friends I mean castmates, um whether or not you're actually friends is a whole different thing, but like let's pretend you're friends. If you're choosing to be friends with this person, it's kind of like how the Fox Force whatever like treat Erika, like yeah, like she explodes it, but we still
Yeah.
like kind of protect her or whatever. Like you know what you're dealing with, then like why are you purposefully, not purposefully, but like why are you doing handling things in a way that you know are going to cause her to react in a certain way?
Right.
And so
Especially so many times after she's like, just stop with this.
yeah.
Like, stop. I don't want to talk about this. Yeah.
So I get your point more now than I did while I was watching the
Mm-hmm.
last season. Like that makes more sense to me. I don't think it justifies like her reactions or like the way things are handled. But it does make more sense, I guess.
Yeah.
And oh, there was something else I was gonna say with that. Oh, how okay. I've thought about this a bit. When it's you've said like these women make Teresa their meal ticket.
Mm-hmm.
She is the center of it. And it's to me now that I've watched the most recent season and then these, it feels like each new person comes on, maybe I don't want to say like intentionally or not intentionally. I'm not gonna go that far, but it okay. This is I think the way I can like make it make sense the best, like in my brain. I feel like a lot of us as women feel like when we are in relationships with men that like if we know this man has red flags, like I'll be the one to change him.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of feels like some of these women approach Teresa the same way. Like I'm going to
Yeah.
be the one that gets through to her. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to be the one that makes her see like no, you should apologize or you should talk more about your feelings or whatever it is. And it just feels like each one of them has that, and then they just get this like okay fuck it, and then here's like
Yeah.
the blow up. To me that's like, so while it does kind of make it seem like they know Teresa's the main character, I can also see it in a way of like, I cannot ignore this woman who is reacting this way and saying these things to me, as opposed to just being like, Teresa's Teresa.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I think Jen has been the one that's been able to make the most headway, because I think she came in like from a genuine place of wanting to be Teresa's friend, where I feel like some of the others maybe just don't seem as genuine.
Yeah. I also thought it was interesting because in the last season we saw Teresa be like, I liked you so much more when you were like bringing me a wreath for like my mom passing away, and like you come to find out that's like 2 episodes into Teresa and Margaret meeting. So like, if the high point of your relationship,
well, she was like, we bonded, you were so
Yeah.
nice to me,
Yeah.
like what happened to that, Margaret? You were really caring, and now you're an asshole, basically.
To me, and like given I have seasons of Margaret to watch, like it seems like this season of Margaret and the one that we just watched are pretty like similar in their way that they deal with things, but maybe I don't know, obviously. Maybe this is like the first time that Teresa and Margaret are really going head to head, because
It
I
starts a
obviously
little
don't know.
earlier. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see it.
Yeah, Teresa has some not so bright moments coming up in her upcoming seasons that you will see. It's going to be hard to root for her. There are times where I've just had to put it aside and just be like, let me compartmentalize this.
And I know
Not a
you
shining
said that
moment.
Margaret has like blow up at one point, because then when she's like, how dare you become violent with me? Because I know you're like, bitch, you got violent with other people. Like, shut up.
Yeah,
So,
she pokes a lot. She does a lot of poking.
got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, it's definitely interesting to be like on this journey, having watched this most recent season. But
Yeah,
I have, I think, 7 or 6 days to watch 3 seasons. So.
you can do it.
I meant to watch a lot more this weekend, and like Lavelle will never listen to this, so I don't have to worry about saying this out loud. But he was here like a lot of the weekend, and the last thing that I will do with Lavelle is watch Real Housewives, because all he does is criticize me for watching Real Housewives. And so I was planning to just like work through, because he usually works weekends as a bartender, but they like gave him this weekend off, and so
that's good.
He was here. Yeah, it was nice. I love getting to spend so much time with him. We don't get to do that very often. And so I'm not complaining about it in the slightest. It just kind of like shifted my plans, because I intended to basically be done with with New Jersey by like yesterday, and now I still have 3 seasons to go, but it's fine. I'll just have to watch it on Peacock.
You can do it. You'll get there. I have faith.
All right. Well, thank you for indulging me in a New Jersey conversation, because like
my favorite topic.
Part of the issue with doing like watching now is I can't just like go click on the hashtag and see like what people are saying. Like there's been a couple times where I searched like Kim D on Reddit, and it's like this is just still not as fun as like me in the moment versus reading something from like 3 years ago. And you'll get your turn with this whenever you decide to sit and watch Miami. We'll get to flip the script.
Yeah.
Actually, when you watch season 2 of Miami, tell me, because I might even rewatch it so I can like fully enjoy the conversation.
Maybe we'll do a Miami special.
That would be great. I'm waiting for the day that you're like, I'm starting season 2 of Miami.
Yeah. I started season 1. I stopped very soon after.
I told you.
There's just a lot of TV. I know, it's just Big Brother season.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
have
tough.
Big Brother, A House of Dragons.
Yeah.
I didn't call it Game of Thrones this time. Look at me growing. I mean, Survivor's coming up. The challenge is ending. So I know you're podcasting a lot and everything. I'm just excited. That's all. I just want you to see, because I feel like it is up there in terms of like New Jersey chaos.
Yeah. Very well. I'm excited.
So, can't wait. All right. We talked about Real Housewives. Is there anything else we need to talk about from the internet or anything?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all throughout.
Perfect. Then, let's round this out. So, Katie, what are you doing online these days?
Yes. What am I doing? You can find me on Twitter at RealSomeKatie if you would like to follow me there. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSomeKatie with an underscore at the end. You can also listen to me on Silent Podcasts. We cover all things Big Brother every Friday or Saturday, depending on schedules. But we'll be coming to an end soon. The Big Brother season ends in 2 weeks, I think. So get your takes in. It's been a spicy day today, even though we're down to the final 5. So there's plenty happening. Usually the season gets very boring at this time, and they just keep giving us stuff to talk about. It's pretty wild.
Someone listed out, sorry to interrupt you, someone listed out like the series of events that have happened this season.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. It's wild.
And yeah, like it sucks that parts of the season have been marred by like the very upfront racism that Taylor experienced.
But her karma's real. She's still there. She's final 5. I hope she's staying this week. A little nervous for her after this morning's events, but we'll see what happens.
So, yeah, I just I was reading that. I'm like, it is kind of weird to like watch. I have kind of enjoyed. I don't want to say kind of. I've enjoyed like seeing people talk about Big Brother on my timeline, which I normally hate.
Yeah, this season has been like not a terrible Twitter season.
Yeah, I've enjoyed. Like I didn't mute the hashtag, so
yeah,
I didn't mute last season's either. But I didn't mute it because like history was quickly being made, but this season, it's kind of been like, and I don't want to say mess in a positive way because I don't think that there should be anything positive said about the racism that has happened, but just kind of like seeing how everybody was so out on it at the beginning, and then like, with Taylor staying and Paloma going, and then just kind of like how things turn, and then especially like when the leftovers were created, and just like people coming back even more, just seeing like, I don't know, all of it, just, it's been interesting.
Yeah, it's been a busy one, that's for sure. So, yeah, that comes out weekly with Isaiah, myself, Josie, when she's able to join us, Lance when he's able to join us. I think it's just been Isaiah and I solo the last couple, but it's all good. We are also covering all things House of the Dragon. So you can listen to myself. Chanel, Javier has been joining us for the last 2 weeks. He may join us again this week. We're still working through scheduling with that. But this was an episode this week. A lot to talk about. So check us out. We'll probably be recording either tomorrow or Thursday. We're still, like I said, working out scheduling. So if you're listening to us, it is Tuesday. The day that we're recording. So check that out on Fire and Pod. And then you can listen to me and Kari cover the finale of TJ Hates Quitters. It ends this week. It ends tomorrow.
R.I.P.
Then that's it. Then that's one off the list of podcasts. But Star Wars is coming back, and we will be covering Andor, the Disney Plus show. So that'll be exciting when that comes out. Naomi, myself, and Isaiah will be back.
Nice. Yeah. You can follow me, KGD26, on anywhere that it is worth following me. Katie talked about our podcast. I'm not doing anything outside of my podcast ventures with Katie, so we're good there. But if you enjoy watching the YouTube videos, I will say that this one wasn't necessarily a heavy, like if you're choosing the podcast form for this one, I support that. Sometimes our YouTube ones are a little bit more exciting just because you're seeing like the facial expressions especially. But follow us, subscribe, do all those things. Twitch, YouTube, search Silent Podcasts. And then we're on Twitter, silent_podcasts. You can listen to us in podcast form, Apple, Spotify, and a bunch of the other ones. So subscribe, rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, tell us what you think of Kim D, like whatever works. Yeah, we would love to see some Kim D opinions, but we appreciate you listening. And so we will be back soon with TJ Hates Quitters, and we'll be back next weekend with more Beverly Hills, unfortunately, and Atlanta reunion. But until next time, we will catch you later. Bye.
Bye.